Very excited, very nervous, feels because I had goosebumps when you.
Sometimes the universe is a little too difficult on us. You feel you won't make it, and that there is no hope left at all. But one must keep rolling, because life becomes a little easier when you have someone to share the load with. And when you least expect it, the rains will go away, and it will all be sunny. Like a story of the summer? Welcome to Alive and Kicking with Rahul Bamne. New episodes every Friday. Great. Welcome to Alive and Kicking, Sharon. It's a podcast where we share stories, where we share perspectives and our opinions. And I think it's 2020. It's the best time to do this. I thought we are home and we need to make a lot of conversation. So we are here doing this podcast. Before we begin, I would like to thank you for being a part of this. So thank you so much for taking this hour out. This is I think it's great that I'm beginning this with you. I would not have thought of anyone else to start Alive and Kicking with. So thank you.
I'm going to say thank you for calling me and thinking of me as worthy enough to be like the first person who comes up on your podcast. So, yes, thank you. Very excited, very nervous.
Tried to Google the meaning of vulnerability or being vulnerable, and I was so stunned to find this meaning, and I've been wanting to cross check this with you because here we are thinking that vulnerability is being your truest self and or just putting yourself out there, taking every living experience that you can, but here is it visible by now?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it now.
here it says vulnerable. The adjective means exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. And it has nothing to do with what you mentioned or what I have been believing all my life. And I will continue to do so. So I just wanted to say, don't you think there are these two parts to it where vulnerability means being someone who being the first one to do something, and then here the Google definition of it is being attacked, or being exposed to an attack, or being exposed to harm. So what do you think, about this dichotomy of the same word?
So I'm going to go back to what I said before. This is majorly because we have kind of associated this whole negative notion with the word. But I think inherently, when you talk about vulnerability, it is kind of being open in a very generic sense, and it is being open to both wounding and pleasure. But nobody tells you about the good side of it. Everybody wants to focus on, how they've had a bad experience or how they've kind of been hurt by, situations or people or something like that. But I still believe that it is kind of experiencing wholeheartedly everything that comes your way. And I'm not very sure if this is kind of like a little bit far-fetched, but it kind of kind of entangles itself with the whole hopes and expectations ideas. So it's like when you get into something and you expect for it to pan out in a certain way, or you expect for it to work out in a certain way, then you kind of don't leave any room to get surprised, because you want the best outcome. So when you don't have the best outcome, then you're suddenly feeling bad about why you actually put yourself in that position in the first place. But when you kind of just hope, and you're just hoping, like, okay, maybe this works out, maybe this doesn't, we'll see when it happens. Then when it actually works out, you are so much more surprised, because you did not really attach the whole feeling that, I know ki ye chalne hi wala hai. So that kind of, it kind of entangles with that. And I think vulnerability kind of, goes very hand in hand with the hope aspect.
I'm going to share something with you right now. I was reading this book called The Story of My Experiments with Truth by M.K. Gandhi. And I haven't finished it, obviously. But in the part 1, chapter 9, this is Mr. Gandhi talking, okay? He says, it was 10:30 or 11 p.m. I was giving the massage. My uncle offered to relieve me. I was glad and went straight to the bedroom. My wife, poor thing, was fast asleep. But how could she sleep when I was there? I woke her up in 5 or 6 minutes, however. The servant knocked at the door. Alarm. I started with alarm. Get up, he said. Father is very ill. I knew of course that he was very ill, and so I guessed that very ill meant at the moment. I sprang out of bed. What is the matter? Do tell me. Father is no more. I saw that if, and then MK Gandhi goes on, Mr. Gandhi goes on to say, if I saw that if animal passion had not blinded me, I should have been spared the torture of separation from my father during his last moments. He says, I had therefore always regarded myself as a lustful husband, a faithful but a lustful husband. It took me long to get free from the shackles of lust, and I had to pass through many ordeals before I could overcome it. I feel it is this excerpt from this book is one of the things I feel is the most vulnerable it could be. I never thought the great father of the nation would talk about in the last moments of his father's death, he could go in the bedroom and he would want to probably have intercourse, or he would want to talk about it in a book so openly that the world could read. And he just so happily mentions in the book that he considers himself a faithful husband but a lustful faithful. And I think it is such a great deal to just openly be vulnerable and tell the world that yeah, I was lustful in the most absurd moments of my life and I regret it. And he says in the end that I want the youngsters or the people of the coming generation who are going to get married to take myself as an example. He says nothing else could be expected, let all those who are married be warned by my example. And I think it couldn't get more vulnerable than this. Can you believe if he could be so vulnerable? And I mean, who are we? I think. Do you have any such? I think favorites. Do you like reading these particular parts in your favorite books and feel okay? This was that vulnerable moment.
I think yes, books and a lot of these online platforms and all where people kind of pour out their stories where they want to have the anonymous tag because again they want to come outright to the world but not exactly kind of on their own terms kind of thing because they still kind of fear the whole judgment or how they are going to be perceived as. So yeah, I do, because when you read such things, that's when you kind of realize that you're not the only one, which is one of the major things that we need to kind of sort out in our head, that I am not the only one who feels like this. Everybody feels like this, even it's my mom or my dad or people I'm living with or my friends or even the most perfect person I have come across, the person I perceive as to be the most perfect or to be the most unflawed individual, if I may say. So I think yeah, it kind of just I think it kind of grounds you because if somebody like Mahatma Gandhi could come out to the world and be like, you know what, this is what I did, and this is what I'm going to kind of regret for the rest of my life, and this is why you should try to take this, and it should work as an example for you, so that you don't have to go through that process where you face it and then you have to kind of pick yourself up, which is why I'm giving it to you firstly कि ये है अब तुम ये मत करो. So that kind of makes it so much more honest and brash because again we don't expect it from somebody like Gandhiji, because for a lot of people he's like the epitome of perfection, that he's done so many things in his life, he's done so many things right in his life. So how could somebody like him have an incident like this? So that kind of that kind of resonates with everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think the more vulnerable we are, the more examples we are putting out there. And I think we're in a way trying to make the world a little easier for those coming. I think it's sort of fair to say that. Do you think there's, if at all, if there's an evident thing, what is going to be a pro and a con for vulnerability?
I think I'll start with the con first because, even though I am a vulnerable person myself, I wouldn't go ahead and say that, there are not times where I have felt that, I could kind of, not have something like this and kind of, just shut this part of me where I would not put
be a hardcore bitch, you mean?
Yeah, just be like, I don't really care about this and this and that. But then I think the whole shutting it down also and locking it up also can only work for like a particular time period. So the con will obviously be that it is a very uncertain place to put yourself into because you don't know what to expect. And we as humans kind of get like very anxious with uncertainty in general. we kind of like want to make connections with everything that, happens with us or happens in our life, kind of thing. So the con would obviously be this whole discomfort that comes by putting yourself in a position of that uncertainty. The pros I'm going to say is, I have somebody told me this, and it goes like, there are stories that remain stories, and then there are stories that kind of become movements. And if we start evoking conversation and we start evoking stories about vulnerability and how it affects almost everybody of us, it can kind of lead into so much bigger. It can kind of lead to such a monumental impact that it will have on people, and which will kind of normalize the whole thing universally. So I think that is the biggest pro. Like what you're doing right now is also something like that only. You're kind of evoking it. You're kind of trying to do
A
your
little
bit into
spark.
this whole, yeah, a little light, a little speck of light into that whole huge ass the dark dungeon where everybody kind of puts themselves into and thinks that or koi nahi hai yahan pe, it's just me, myself, and I kind of have to deal with everything yourself. So it's just kind of that one small helping hand where you can tell people that, what, this is totally normal. You're not the only one, and it is not a bad trait to have. So that is what
Yeah.
I would say is a pro.
We're in this together. The poem is called Portrait of a Prostitute. Quite different. And the poetry says, in the field's tangle, hardly conscious, skulking she lies, corpse like, mouth half open, crushed by the path. Watching the faces of young oglers on both sides, she lapses into silence with just one thought. If my womb had not been so crushed by passerbys, my sons too would have come to youth by now, and my daughters too would be an age to be married. That's one bit of it, and I'm going to show you the other poem. So there are three poetries that I really loved, and I thought they made so much sense. Uh, you know, can you see it?
Yes.
It's called Feeling.
Feeling.
The feeling that you are close, that's all, just a sense that you are around, flustered among countless people, abashed by the eyes of strangers, eyes that sting, cling to the body, colder than ice, smoldering eyes, entangled and wrapped by countless gazes, one face among countless faces, ensnared in a thousand strands, withdrawn, afraid, a trifle shy, the feeling that you are close, that's all. Simply a sense that you are close. And I'm going to show you the third poem before we get to discuss these. I know you. I don't know if you're as passionate, but I think you are. I think you're very passionate about poetry and dismantling poetry and finding meaning in it. This one's called Rape. Uh, Nothing happened as it always does in films. No rains, no winds, nor a forest scene. No moon in the sky to ignite passion frenzies. No cascading spring, nor the sighs of a rustling river. No music in the background to whip up a storm of feelings. Nor was she a seductive goddess drenched in the rain. Just a woman, weak, vulnerable. Four men, only because they were men, pinned her against a wall and raped her. And these are poetries, I have to tell you. Um, these are poetries that are written by Gulzar in Hindi. And I got this book from Calcutta, and these were the three poems I came across that really, really were vulnerable in the written sense. And can you really think of people writing this? Just going to the first poem, Portrait of a Prostitute. About how they think that even a prostitute could have a heart of her own, and how she would want to have her own children and want to see them grow, get married, have education. What do you think, as artists, as people following artists, as people reading poetry and books, how much of responsibility do written poetry or books get when it comes to vulnerability being shown?
I think they have a very, very major role to play on what influences our
Generation?
our
Yeah.
opinion of
Okay.
vulnerability again. Also generation, yes, of course, because I
Of
think
course.
we are in a world where it is so much more important to kind of have the whole trait of empathy now more than ever, have the whole trait of understanding now more than ever, have the whole trait of being able to kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes or put somebody above yourself and just be like, you know what, I understand you. And the poems that you read out to me, if I had to kind of describe it in the equivalent of myself, it would be like I split open myself and I just like gave it up, and I'm just like, you know what, you're gonna go and you're going to infer what you get out of this. So it's kind of
Yeah.
so it's not honest. It is so brash to the extent that it would make us feel super super uncomfortable at times because of how descriptive it is, more so because of how real it is and how real
It
it
is.
feels,
I was
because I had goosebumps when you
I was
when
no,
you
I mean I was just about to say it's truth, and truth in its truest sense. And I really can't believe that being so vulnerable in just poetry. And I'm someone, I mean, I've been writing poetry for so long, but
for
I
so
haven't
long.
been able to write something as wonderful, as strong as this. And it makes you feel, like you mentioned, so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable reading the poetry on rape, reading the poetry on prostitutes. And it just it makes you feel so lost. And why am I reading this? And some people out there would not even consider this art at all.
Or
They
a
would be like,
poetry, yeah, they
yeah.
wouldn't
and
even.
and I can't tell you, I have narrated these to you in English, and they were written in Hindi. Can you believe
I
that?
think
They
that
were
would just be much more gut
descriptive.
wrenching than the Hindi.
Yeah, just so I think, like, yeah, I mean, great influence, and it has a lot of responsibility, like you said. um if you were talking to another stranger who is, who wants to be vulnerable, what would be your advice? Just not advice would be a wrong word, just 2 cents, maybe 2 cents.
My
Yeah,
thoughts,
thoughts.
yes, yes. So I think I would just say that we all have a right to have an opinion. We all have a right to feel things according to what we want and about what we want. So I think when we kind of come to terms with, yeah, this is my particular opinion, or this is where I stand with a particular person or with a particular situation or an incident. So when you kind of have the capacity and you have the gift where you could have an opinion and you could feel something in particular, why why hold yourself back than just putting it out there? Because it seems very easy if I say something that, what is the worst that could happen. So I think, yes, I think, first of all, don't expect the worst out of all situations. Give yourself the space to be surprised. Give yourself the space to kind of deal with things that you did not see coming. And more so, I think it is so much more important to be vulnerable or just open to a lot of things in life, is because it's going to help you connect with yourself and with people so much more better. It's going to kind of, make you feel more things, feel better than you were doing. It's not going to be so much more surface level with a lot of people or with yourself. You're going to kind of get a better understanding of yourself. And again, like I said before, it's just, I don't know, I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's like a real asset that you can have. And I think that is how people should kind of look at it, which is why, the whole gradual change from it being a negative trait and it being something that everybody should kind of, be open to experiencing. Because I cannot just tell somebody that, yeah, you have chosen to not be vulnerable, so,
It's a
just start
process.
from
It's a
tomorrow. It's
process.
not going to happen that soon. And yeah, it's a process, but again, it's a conscious process. If that is something that you would want to be, because I think that that is the kind of human we should strive to be. But then again, if you have a different approach towards it, and if you choose to not accept it, or kind of, even give an
That's
experience
fine
like
as
that
well,
to
yeah.
yourself, then it's totally fine. I'm not going to tell you that, you have to be vulnerable. No.
It's our philosophy. I think we're going to put this disclaimer in the beginning saying this is just ours, our philosophy, our thoughts. You can choose not to follow them.
So I think it has to come with the fact that, just acknowledge vulnerability with all sides that it has to offer, rather than just
Yeah.
looking at the negative side. And then come to terms with the fact if this is something that you want to have in your life. Because I'm not telling you to just downright accept it, because that is not possible. You kind of need to acknowledge it firstly, that there is something like that exists. It exists inside you also. Maybe not, it is not like it is dormant compared to the rest of the traits that you show, or the rest of the identities that you show people. But there are going to be a lot of situations where, kind of vulnerability is going to be that one major aspect that will kind of get you out of it. Or, kind of
Stronger.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger thing. So it's going to be that one trait. So I think, which is why it's so much more necessary to kind of hold on to it, kind of hone it, because once you come to terms with the fact that you are this kind of person, then everything just gets so much more easier, and everything gets so much more better, because you're looking at the world differently, you're looking at people differently, and your whole understanding of yourself changes to an extent where, one, you will not be as disappointed as you used to be when you did not give yourself this chance. And I'm not telling you that you're not going to have bad experiences, because if we only had the good
Yeah.
experiences in life, it wouldn't really make sense. What are we doing if we are not having uncomfortable conversations, or we're not having unconventional conversations? Because then it's the same thing. Everybody's talking about A and B. What happens to the people who are talking about C? Why are we not talking about something else? Which is why it's so much more necessary to kind of embrace it and not kind of
Yeah.
run away from it. That's the only
Yeah,
thing that
and
I would say. And again, it's
yeah,
not
an
an
advice,
advice,
just
so
thoughts,
don't.
just thoughts. And while we close it, the last question would be, Sharon, what is the essence of vulnerability according to you? Don't laugh. It's what the episode is about. It's the most important question.
I have spoken so much now.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know
I
what
think we've
more
just.
I
I
could
think it's going to
speak
be.
about
Sometimes I
it.
think it's going to be confusing, but it does make sense when I really read the captions with what you're actually saying. But yeah, what will be the essence? Like the essence of being a man is changed today. Earlier it was being macho, being whatever. Today it's being you. It's being okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be the homemaker. So the essence has changed over a period of time. Same goes for women. So what do you think is the essence of vulnerability?
I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It is the whole idea of kind of opening up yourself and being open to both wounding and pleasure. So you're going to just kind of go ahead, take every day as it comes. But also, you're not going to, kind of just totally lose your shit if you're in a position
Yeah.
where, you did not see coming. And I don't know what I can exactly say, because me as a person, I don't really fear uncertainty. I have kind of made my peace with the fact, so it doesn't make me anxious and all anymore. But I have my own best friend who can't deal with the fact of uncertainty. And her anxiousness just kind of like hits the roof, and she's like totally lost it. So that's why it is different
Of
for
course.
different people.
We're all
Of course it will be, because we are on our own journeys, where we're taking different course of actions. Our behavior is going to ultimately take
True.
us to different places in the end. But I think it just has to be a very conscious process. And again, don't run away from it. If you want to run away from it, yes, go ahead. But I think just sometime it's okay to put yourself out there and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to take this day as it comes. Maybe just start with as simple as, today I'm just going to say yes to everything that happens in my life, just for one day. And of course, don't tell your friends and all that, because then they're probably going to make you the most
Yeah, I was
stupid
just about
things
to
in
say,
the
can I
whole
throw
world.
orange juice on
But
your
you
face?
could-
And you're going to be like, yes. But I get your point.
Yeah, so it could be that simple. Or just kind of, I don't know, just pen down your thoughts in a journal or in a book, where you know what you are okay with people knowing about you and what you're not okay with people knowing about you, and why are these certain things not okay to you. So when you know you kind of have like an analysis of yourself, so then you can kind of get to the root of, you know, what is actually stopping you or what is actually holding you back. And then you can kind of go on another course of action where you can kind of, you know, try to mend this or kind of rectify it. And I'm not saying it's a flaw or anything. It's not. It's just one of the other things which we inherently are born with. And over the course of life, some people choose to kind of, you know,
Don't.
amplify
Some people
it and some people don't.
Yeah.
So it's a choice that
so
you make.
open to pain and pleasure.
It's as
Open to
simple
pain
as
and
that.
pleasure. I'm going to
life.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharon, for doing this. Thank you. It means so much to me. For I'm pretty sure for this, for Alive and Kicking, for what it really means, for what it really stands. You took out time. You are with us today, and I'm just so glad we had this conversation. You know, I'm probably going to make it up to you with what, a meal, happy meal, coffee. I don't know. We'll catch up. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to ask the users to share this because sharing is good. Like this because there's so much to dislike already. And subscribe because it doesn't cost a penny. We're going to be on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify as well. You can check this episode out. It's called The Essence of Vulnerability. I am Rahul Bamne. We're doing Alive and Kicking. Feat Sharon De Silva. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, you can listen to the whole podcast on Spotify. Just click on the link in the bio.